And we're back.
Welcome back, everybody, to the only podcast on the internet that knows that when it comes to heat waves, the third time is not the charm.
And we know that because we are doctors.
Not doctors.
I'm Dr. Silverstein.
I'm Dr. Armshaw.
And on this week's episode, we will be looking at a few less things, but it will be Nigel Farage calls it quits for now.
Wow. Turning our attention to the United States and giving the rest of the world a huge miss. We'll be talking about Graham Clacton, the Democratic candidate for Senate in Maine, who is not going to be the Democratic candidate for the Senate in Maine for very much longer. After that, we'll turn our attention towards Donald Trump and how he has destroyed the World Cup. So that's fun. It's going to be a fun episode, Chris.
And obviously after that, we're going to have some good news. And all that and more starting on Doctors Right Doctors Not Doctors starting right now. Almost had it.
So close.
Patrick.
Chris.
So I think we need to explain what's happening here. We are not recording this on our normal day or on the normal weekend.
It's an emergency Doctors Not Doctors.
It is an emergency house call. I'm going to be out of town during our normal taping schedule. So we both decided that it was a good idea to do a very quick version of the show, even a short. We had a whole plan.
Exactly.
And then around 2:00 this afternoon, we weren't even going to talk about the UK. And at 2:00 this afternoon, Nigel Farage decided that he was going to tell the world about his plans for the future. So I think, just a tiny bit of background here. Nigel Farage has been under just absolute total stress over his personal finances.
He
has been he's of course been in America for the 4th of July celebrations. I should say Freedom 250 celebrations, sniffing up the backside of anybody who was within a country mile of Trump. And when he came back from the U.S., he had gotten stopped at the airport effectively by, I think, Sky News or someone else, basically asking him, what's the deal with your money? What's the deal with Harborne? What's the deal with all the convicted criminal who helped to fund your staff? And he absolutely lost it at the cameras. I don't know if you've seen this, Patrick. Have you seen this?
I haven't had a chance to watch it. Do tell.
So he basically says, and I'm going to paraphrase, he's like, okay, you've doorstopped my family. You went after my daughters. Sky News. This is like he's basically you are the target now. Sky News, you've gone way beyond the line. This is outrageous. And like he got up in the face of the camera. I mean, it was horrible. The look was horrible. Wow. And obviously, it was a look of a rattled man because he's under investigation already by the parliamentary commissioner for his standards for his £5 million donation that he didn't declare. So as we said in the last pod, if that investigation goes the wrong way for him, he could receive a suspension from the House, and any suspension longer than 10 days would mean that he could be recalled from the House of Commons. Recalled from his seat, and then there would be a by-election. And so today, he decided, because he decided to figure out a way to turn the needle, the dial, in a totally different direction, and he is going to resign his seat, and he is going to stand again in Clacton on Sea, his current constituency, to be the MP there. And somehow that is supposed to absolve him of his investigatory problems. Do you know the problem with that?
Well, here's the thing. I think it's great because whomst among us has not been about to be fired from their job and then decided, you can't fire me, I quit, but also I'm reapplying for my position. And I would like you to take my candidacy seriously, please. So, and if I had to go before standards every time I accepted a £5 million gift from a friend of mine, Chris, I just don't know what I would do. I'd be drowning in paper.
Did you see his talking to camera? It wasn't a press conference. It was like him like in between two Union flags, and he's basically just like, did you see any of it before I started?
I did not. I didn't.
Oh man, it was terrible.
Give me the lowdown. Oh, give me the blow by blow.
So basically he's like paraphrasing here, I could have made a lot more money staying in my rich job in the 90s, but instead I left that job for you. And I went to the European Parliament and I was there for 20 years and I left there basically broke. And I'm like, hang on. Okay. Fun fact, he's a year away from his European Parliament pension, and that's going to be 70% of his European Parliament salary for the rest of his life. That's another thing. So, then he's just like, I am the most attacked person in, British political life. No, I need the money for my security, but then it turns out that the security is being paid for by Posh George, and that's neither here nor there. And he tried to frame this thing as people should be allowed to make money, and it's not against the law, and it's not against the rule to make money. So I should be allowed to make as much money as I want, and it's bad for you to want to understand where my money comes from.
How dare you have any opinions whatsoever on the millions of pounds I am given by my criminal associates? Yes. I think that's going to play. That's going to play really well, Chris. I think that's...
As a man of the people, everybody, when you walk into your average pub, you have your friends who are getting, 5-10 million pounds. I mean, Farage barely got, 5 million pounds. I mean,
exactly.
In most normal pubs, it's around 10 to 15.
Well, obviously, what with inflation?
All sorts of cryptocurrency billionaires. And then at the end of it, he's like, Sky News, you've, crossed the line, you harassed my daughter, you doorstepped her, and this is what doorstep means, in case you are unfamiliar with the procedure. If you are a public figure or you are connected to a public figure, journalists will just hang out outside your front door. And there may be a camera, there may not be a camera. And they'll knock on your door and they'll be like, hi, we want to talk about this thing. Is Nigel home? Are you home? Do you understand? And you're well within your right to be like, no, and then close the door because they're not the police.
Yeah, exactly.
And so apparently there was a house that was on the front page of one, I think the Times or another paper. And and people figured out where that house was and they went to the house and apparently his daughter was supposed to be there. The person who opened the door, according to Sky News, was not his daughter. It was an adult, and there was no camera. And Sky News says, we asked if Nigel was there. They said no. And then Sky News left. Nigel Farage, the way he tells it, they kicked down the door, set fire to the couch, and said, "We're not leaving until Nigel shows up, and we're gonna,
obviously,
and we're gonna give you an upper decker as well." So,
don't look that up, kids. Don't look that up.
So he declared that in order to, clear, it seems he says that basically he's trying to clear his name by having a by-election, but that doesn't make any sense because he said, I haven't done anything wrong. I've made all my money the right way. And it's like the issue isn't with the making of the money. The issue is with declaring where it came from. So it doesn't matter how much money you make as long as you tell people, oh, yeah, it all came from, the mafia or it all came from.
Because, Chris, when you do that, then the voters can decide whether it's a problem. The voters can determine whether or not you are compromised. They can determine whether or not the decisions you make when you are elected to represent them in parliaments are in fact, corrupt in some way. So, it would make a lot of sense if you're running for parliament, right? And you're like, I'm laying it all on the table. I'm laying it all out there. Let the voters decide. I think that is, that's a tactic, and it's not a bad one, I think, if you have been taking money from criminals, but you still want to go to parliament. My problem here is that that's not exactly what old Nige did, is it? Because what he did is he hid it all, ran for office, and then it got discovered, and then he claimed, no, none of it's not real, it's not real, stop looking, pay no attention to the millionaire behind the curtain. And then when he got caught, and it looked, I think we have to operate under the assumption that he knew Standards was, oh no, this is bull. And Standard was almost certainly about to say, and you're suspended for 10 days or more. And therefore that he was going to have to face an election. Like this is, I think we have to assume that he saw the train coming down the tracks and he decided to try to get ahead of it. Right?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah. So, but if you've spent all of your time running for office and hiding things of this nature, you don't then get to turn around and say, well, I'm going to run again. But this time everyone knows because I got found out, and now let the voters judge,
Well, Well, also because even if this is the other couple of issues here. This is a tactic that's been used before. David Davis used it, I think, in the early 2000s, almost like 2009. Zach Goldsmith used it, basically to resign, to prove a point, and then come back and say, "All right, the people have stood. I have regained my popularity, and therefore you can't talk to me the way that you talk to me." The problem being is that, because everybody knows it's a stunt, almost no one's going to stand against him. So the Lib Dems and the Tories and Restore, I think most importantly, Restore isn't standing against him. I don't know about the Greens yet, but no one's going to stand against him because it gives legitimacy to his campaign. So if he comes out with like an 80% majority, well, yeah, but if it's only 2,000 people voting, then right? Because that's just the people who came out to help you, but it's not like you ran an actual competitive campaign. So
you still get to sit in Parliament, though, right? Yeah, like you still get your pay. And you still get, I guess, progress towards your parliamentary pension, I'm assuming, right?
It's yes and no. So here's the thing.
Okay. All right.
Because the final part of this story, I don't know if I've already said it, but the investigation doesn't stop just because he's resigning. The investigation is paused. That's fun. Okay. So if he is reelected, and he must think that he will be reelected, then the investigation just starts up again, and anything else they want to start up after that is also fair game. So, in fact, if I was the parliamentary standards commissioner, I'd start another investigation a day just to make sure that all of them are in line before the by-election. Right. So the long and the short of it is that no matter what he does, this doesn't go away, even if he wins. So the reason Restore isn't standing is because they're saying, "Oh, we're not standing in this one. We'll be standing in the next one when he loses his case." So I think a lot of people are just going to wait for that one, provided he loses that case. So
if I understand you correctly, Chris, what you were saying is Nigel Farage, instead of waiting for standards to come back and make a determination and possibly have to have a by-election and run and win his seat again, he's decided he's going to run and win his seat again and then have standards come down and determine whether or not he needs to do that literally all over again. I'm not certain I'm seeing the strategic genius here, Chris.
I'm sorry, I'll use the official term. The strategery of it is that he's changing the narrative. This is a classic Trump move. He is changing the narrative so that we're talking about the by-election and not about the scandals. However, the scandals will be part of the by-election, and everybody will know that's literally why what the by-election's about. But because people won't be standing against him in the by-election to throw that at them, then it's going to be lesser. But because it isn't going away, it's basically he's just buying himself time. And he is trying to change the national story, because a lot of what he said as well was, look at how much I've changed UK politics. We're at the top of the polls and you're just trying to bring me down. I am the most important person in the world. I mean, he sounded like a petulant child who's just like, I want my money. I get to do whatever the hell I want with it. You can shut the hell up and sit the hell down and just let me walk all over you, because that's my job as Nigel Farage. And it's like, it was an unedifying, fiasco. And then his supporters like Robert Jenner on television, and it's just like, shame on Sky News for harassing and doorstepping his daughter. And then he went on Sky News and said that. And they're like, that never happened. I mean, like it didn't happen like that. Like, it honestly didn't happen like that. And if it did, you'd be able to prove it, and you can't. So,
there's an old phrase that comes to mind here that comes from the legal profession, Chris, and it's this: when you have the law on your side, you pound the law. When you have the facts on your side, you pound the facts. When you got neither on your side, you pound the table.
Yes.
And that sounds an awful lot like what is going on with Mr. Jenrick there in terms of that appearance.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He is pounding the table. It was the most American I'd seen on Sky News for a while from a British member of parliament. So yeah, it's going to be now a by-election that's now potentially happening in August or September, depending on how you do the numbers, how you do the math. It also depends on when he moves the writ. So here's the nerd stuff. You don't just declare your resignation. You have to, as we've said before, because we've had lots of by-election members of parliament can't resign. They have to write to the government and ask for permission to take a position in the royal household. And then if that is accepted, then they can no longer be a member of parliament because it's incompatible with being a member of the royal household. Mm-hmm. Once that happens, then you can kind of do whatever you want. But here's a fun fact. If he's a member of the royal household, or he works for the royal household, how can he stand? So he has to leave that position. And I don't know exactly how one leaves that position of their own accord, because what he's going to do in a very weird way, he's going to push out either Stephen Flynn or the guy who got out of the way for Andy Burnham.
Right. Right. And
but that's how it works. The person who's in the position now is then told you're no longer in that position. Somebody else comes in. I don't know what happens if there's no one there to push you out. So I'm sure it's happened before, and I'm sure there's a procedure for it or some kind of parchment thing. Maybe
like declare yourself a Republican or something like that. Or
no,
like it's. Well, I gotta wonder what would be enough to make the king be like, yeah, I don't want your stink on me, man. I don't want any association with that. Thank you very much. Like, I do have to say, I do kind of wish that the official protocol for kicking someone out of parliament was that, because you can't be in parliament if you're taking the king's shilling. So I think we should have a ceremonial shilling. And I think that a member of the royal household, selected at random, but in this case, it should be Prince Harry, should get to just chuck the shilling at your head. And then you're no longer an MP, right? I think that's... Yeah,
I think only in certain circumstances. Some people have to resign for good reasons, and you're just like,
that's true. That's true.
Whap.
I mean, you don't have to throw it hard. You can just sort of. I mean, if someone's cool, you could just sort of toss them the shilling, like ding, flick it off your finger, and like then they can catch it midair, and you get a nice photo op.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
All right. Yeah, I like the different ways it works. So yeah, that's what happened today. It's going to take about 5, maybe 6 weeks to see what happens. And I this is a by-election that will happen in the middle of summer, which also means that he will dominate the summer political cycle, which doesn't exist. Basically, from the end of next week until September, everybody goes on holiday because it's the summer holidays. So normally political news just goes away, but now there's going to be all Farage all the time, but it's going to be a mixed bag.
How many people, I think, are saying to themselves, hooray, a summer of Farage,
like the guys who wear the black shirts and the brown shirts.
Well, I guess that's true. Yeah. Well, good luck. Good luck to us all, I say.
Yeah, good luck to us, not to him. So I think we should move on now to the United States of America, because
things are going great.
When we conceived of doing this, I had one thing that I wanted to talk about, but then in the middle of that, as per always, something else popped up. So Patrick, why don't you take us through the first thing that popped up, and I will prepare myself for the rant on the second.
Okay. Well, so I'm not sure which one you want me to talk about, actually.
Graham Plattner.
Let me talk about Graham Plattner then. Okay, good. So Graham Plattner, everybody, this is the guy who is a Democratic politician in Maine. He is currently the Democratic nominee for the Senate. And this is interesting because he is running in the state of Maine. Maine is, how to put this, Maine is a pretty blue state. It is consistently, in presidential elections, it goes to the Democratic Party. Consistently, it has left of center politics. And consistently, it has elected Susan Collins to the Senate from the Republican Party. She has been a long time. She's been in there for like 30 years.
Didn't she promise to only do 2 terms?
Oh, of course she did. I mean, she did lots of fun things. She also promised that she would defend Roe v. Wade, Chris. And she promised when she put the judges on the Supreme Court who, ended up overturning Roe v. Wade, she promised everyone that they had told her that they weren't going to overturn Roe v. Wade. So it was all copacetic. It was all fine, you guys. And, so she is sort of famous for, furrowing her brow and occasionally, saying, well, that's not quite on effectively whenever members of her party do something outrageous, fascist, or completely in opposition to everything she claims to stand for. So, she's not great, Chris, is what I'm going to say.
She's not awesome.
No, but on the other hand, she is like she's like one of, I think, 2 moderates left in the Republican Party in the Senate. Her and what's the name of the Republican senator from Alaska?
Okay, hang on. We're gonna do some dead air here.
Yeah, no, this is bad. I should know this off the top of my head.
You should.
Murkowski?
Oh, Murkowski.
Lisa Murkowski.
Lisa Murkowski, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, her and Susan Collins, they're the last two Republican moderates in the Senate. So I think that may help to explain why she's been able to overperform the Democratic Party in election after election after election. So if you're a Democrat in Maine, you have been looking at 2026 and saying, this has got to be it, right? Like, she's put these people on the Supreme Court who have given Trump criminal immunity, right? Who have destroyed Roe v. Wade, who, basically she's proven that she cannot and will not do anything to stop the depredations of the nutcases in our party. What is the point of voting? But in order to actually beat her, you still need a strong candidate. And this takes us to Graham Plattner. Graham Plattner, yes. Yeah, he basically was coming as like a real outsider. He was running in the Democratic, running for the Democratic nomination as somebody who wasn't part of the party. He was on the left wing. He was going to be a real fighter. He was going to, bring that kind of like ready to go to battle against the Trump administration energy that the Democratic Party electorate really wants to see right now. And so he was able to win convincingly Democratic nomination, despite some, let's say, interesting personal issues.
Yeah.
So basically, here's the deal. He is someone who is an ex-soldier. And as, part of his experience being a soldier, he said some things online that are pretty vile, pretty bad, like not great. He's got a history on social media saying things that are just, not the kind of thing that's very helpful if you're going to run for Senate. But, he's an outsider. He's not media trained. It's fine, you guys. It's fine. And it turns out he does have some interesting body art. He's got a tattoo. He's got a tattoo of a Totenkopf, which is the skull used as the sigil of the Schutzstaffel, that is the SS.
Oops.
The fun black shirt organization led by Hitler during the Hitler regime in Nazi Germany. It's not great. But, soldiers, they like, badass imagery and whatnot. And like he wasn't thinking too hard about it. And he got it when he was drunk. And it's fine, you guys. It's fine. And then it turned out that also he was, sexting with women while he was married. And he didn't get married that long ago. But, and he's really sorry about it. And like, but you guys, he is growing. He is learning. He is changing. And he is absolutely a different person to what he was. It's fine. And you may be asking yourself, how the hell has he gotten this far? How the hell did he manage to win convincingly the Democratic nomination? And the answer is he had support from a lot of Democratic politicians on the insurgent left wing of the party, such as Bernie Sanders, right? So a lot of people went to bat for this dude. A lot of people took a lot of flack for saying, look, I know he's problematic, but he's got the energy and he's rallying people to his side, and his head's on straight now, and he has promised there's nothing else that's going to come out between now and the election.
That's so good to hear. I mean, there's just so much that's already come out. It's nice to hear that he's going to that he's going to
something came out, Chris.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, and it's really bad. Yeah. So basically, he's been accused of rape by a former partner who is also on the left wing of the Democratic Party. This does not appear to be in anything like a partisan hit. This appears to be a serious and credible allegation. And she's got receipts. She's got text messages. So this is the last straw. Everybody who backed him is now saying, no, you got to go, dude. You got to.
Yeah.
Go. Bernie Sanders is saying, step down. A whole lot of people went out on a limb for this guy, and he appears to have just fucking lied to everybody. And also, not for nothing, he appears to have committed rape. And that's a crime, Chris.
That's
a big old crime.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is kind of a big fucking deal. But what's really interesting about this, if I can put aside the personal issues, if I can put aside the ideological issues, if I can put aside the legal issues, what's interesting politically is that there is still time for the Democrats to choose a different person for the nomination.
Yes, that is interesting.
Yeah. So this means that if he steps down, the party will effectively get to put its preferred candidate in. And you may remember how much fun that was in 2024 when Joe Biden, having won the nomination, announced that he wasn't going to run again on account of old. And basically, the entire media was taken up with, well, how are they going to choose a new candidate? Are they going to have a whole new nomination process? Are they going to have an open convention? Oh, it's going to be so cool. And instead it was, well, no, she's the vice president, Kamala Harris is, so she'll just take over the spot. It's fine, you guys. And then, of course, she lost by a few thousand votes in a few states.
Yes.
And we now have Trump back in power. So if you were deciding on the likelihood of Sue Collins getting another 6-year term in the Senate, your odds just got significantly better. And if you're the Democratic Party of Maine, I don't know what you do at this point. Who do you have ready to go who's going to be able to fire people up, who's going to be able to take the coalition that Plattner has built, and he has built a coalition that appears to be actually threatening to Susan Collins?
Yeah.
How do you get someone who's able to recapture that, who didn't do things like rape people and get Nazi tattoos? It's a thought.
Yeah, I like, again, we're in a swallow situation here where it seems like it's going to be a slam dunk, and then it at the kind of 9th hour something comes out that absolutely scuppers the campaign, scuttles the ship, and again, it's that thing where if this is a Republican, if this was MAGA, there'd be no doubt that this person would be keep going, no resignation,
of course,
no calls for resignation, because we expect the right wing to be terrible.
Well, we don't expect it, Chris. We know it. Donald Trump is an adjudicated rapist. They knew that. They knew that, and
going in, they knew that. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, we know that for the Republican Party, rape is not a bar. We know that for the Republican Party, being a felon is not a bar. The Republican Party has made very, very clear that they will vote for anybody who is a Republican, but especially for Trump, no matter what crimes they have committed.
But that's what I'm saying is that for the Republicans, this would be a no-brainer, but for Democrats, it will be that I'd be surprised if he's still the candidate on Friday.
I think he's.
There's no more support for him.
You can set your clock now.
Yeah, but I have seen some things pop up online from the left wings of that movement who are just like blaming the media and saying, you went after him so hard and now you finally got rid of him, and now you're going to have the wrong kind of Democrat in power there, or I'm sorry, running for office. And this is the left splits, the right unites. And so somehow Plattner was able to use his, reform scumbag energy to bring people together, because he's not like the rest of them, which is like that seems to be the theme of modern politics, whether it be here in the UK or in the US. I'm not like the rest of them. I am not media trained. I am just like you. I sound like you. And I
talk like a normal human being.
Yeah. I don't speak in sound bites. I don't speak in perfectly crafted, focus grouped words. But Plattner clearly had that power. Also, a Nazi tattoo on his chest, which he could have had removed, but chose not to.
I mean, it's very painful and expensive and doesn't work particularly well. But maybe it's worth the effort if you got a fucking Totenkopf on your.
If you have a Nazi tattoo on your body, maybe remove it if you don't like that anymore.
Maybe that's just the price you pay for getting a Nazi tattoo. I don't know.
That's why tattoos are indelible, but you can still scrape the skin off. So I don't know. I don't know Maine politics, obviously. So whoever they find, I mean, they're going to have to put a lot of money in. Well, they're going to have to put a lot of money into that into Maine to make it even close to competitive, because obviously all Suzanne Collins has to do is be like, hey, I'm still here. Just like I'm continuity. So hey, and people are like, but you're I don't know. You're looking for the middle here. You're not looking for the Democrats who will either stay at home or not vote for him or her.
Well, yeah, but you can't win with just Republican votes in Maine. Sue Collins gets reelected because she gets Democrats to vote for her.
Yeah.
And the polling was pretty tight between her and Graham Plattner. This is not a situation where Plattner was like a shoe-in to win, and this throws that into question. And there is a problem with being a continuity candidate in 2026, Chris.
Yeah, that's
which
true.
Is that everyone fucking hates how things are right now.
Yeah.
Like, no one is happy with this shit. MAGA says that they're happy, but that's because they've convinced themselves that, losing, what was it, like over $1 billion to Donald Trump by buying his shitcoin, that's actually a smart decision. And it's going to work out super well. Like there's people in the cult and there's everybody else. And if you're not in the cult, this is terrible and you want out.
Absolutely.
Collins, I think in a weird way, Collins may have been better off running against Plattner by being able to say, look, you can't trust him. He's got a Nazi tattoo. What are we doing here?
Yeah, no, that's
and
true.
Enough Democrats who are still relatively centrist might very well have said, yeah, fair enough. So who knows what happens,
I guess we're going to find out in a couple of weeks. And then obviously in November when whoever the new candidate is, comes out. But I think we'll leave it at that. Exactly. And turn to the final bit of the United States stuff before we get to good news.
Yeah.
Which is how Trump ruined the World Cup.
God damn it. It was going relatively well, I thought.
Okay, so here's the thing.
I mean, there's fucking water breaks and all that kind of shit, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, hydration breaks, which are just commercial breaks. It's the red referee. I'll get to that later. This is the thing though about like like for the first time, and we were talking about this just a few days ago. We're recording this on the 7th of July, just so you know. So it's not that long since we just recorded. But and just as another note, we recorded this before the U.S. game. We knew about the red card, but this is before we knew that Trump had intervened to get it removed. So the point being is that up until last weekend, the international, or at least the European community who was in America was just pretty much showering in the country with praise.
Oh yeah,
they were. It
was a love fest.
It was a love fest.
Yeah, you had like Lawrence, Kansas, like going all out for the team Algeria, basically. Yeah, like it was like seriously, it was a real moment of like America rejoining the global community in a way.
Yeah, it was probably a better example of America 250 than either of those could have done, because you have welcoming people from all different walks of life, and all these different walks of life coming to America and being like, hey, this place isn't actually that bad. Look, it's pretty fun and I really enjoy myself. And there's sold out crowds and they enjoy football, they enjoy soccer, and this is all exceptionally good stuff, right? And then in the game between Bosnia Herzegovina and the United States, I'm not going to do good in this name. Falarin Balogun.
Yeah, Falarin Balogun.
Falarin Balogun. He got a red card against one of the players, and obviously red card means he'd be suspended for the next game. And the next game was against Belgium already. And as I said in the last pod, it was already going to be a hard game to begin with, and they're going to lose one of our best players. And the red card itself was. From some people are saying it was a bit spurious. The ref had let lots of physical play go, and yet this particular one, it's like, no, he can't do it, and he basically made sure he wasn't going to be in the next game. So people were upset about the red card, but that's what happens in football. And I'm not a big fan of this portion of football / soccer. It's the karmic retribution side of it. It's the side that the ref gets a wrong call. Oh, well, I once watched a game where Ireland was playing to try to get into the World Cup. The ref gets the call wrong. Ireland loses the game. And they're out, and they're like, well, I guess we'll get back next time. I'm all like, most players will have maybe 4, maybe 5 World Cups in their life. And that's if they are the best of the best. I'm talking about maybe 20 years, and you only get 4 or 5 of them. Like Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, just like this is his last one, and he's never won. Right. And he's broken because he lost to Spain yesterday. So like he's never ever going to win a World Cup, right? Himself. Him versus Messi. Congratulations, Messi, who they just barely beat Egypt, by the way, just today. So like I am not a fan of the way that the system works, but I understand that's how everybody else lets it work, and I'm a relative newcomer to this. But the fact that Trump intervened because this is what happened. Like the red card had been put down and people were like, well, what are we going to do? And all of a sudden Trump makes a phone call to the president of FIFA.
Yeah.
And then
Infantino.
Yeah. And then out of nowhere, baby. He's just like, well, maybe that red card was a bit wrong. We're going to suspend it for a year and make sure that it's not that like, he doesn't do any other naughties, but he can play on the day.
We're going to suspend the suspension.
We're going to suspend the suspension, but keep him suspended.
Exactly. And keep us all in suspense.
Oh, it wasn't in suspense because Europe, UEFA, which is a far more powerful group than the Major League Soccer organization, which is the American one, they went 100% ballistic and for good reason. They basically is like, what the hell is this? What are the rules? I don't understand what the hell's going on. And this is okay.
I mean, it's corrupt, Chris. Yeah, it's corrupt.
It is corrupt.
It's just flat out corruption.
It's the height of corruption. And here's the other part. It ruined the World Cup for the United States because you only had two options at that point. Here's the first option. You have to win, and you have to win decisively with your guy, right? If Trump hadn't intervened and Fowler wasn't able to be in the game and you lose, that sucks. But it isn't that bad because America's an okay team, but not a great team. Like we don't have any Tom Brady's. We don't have any Steph Curry's. We don't have any Michael Jordans. We have good players.
Expectation is not that they're going to win the whole shebang here, right?
Yeah.
So, they've done well. They've done honorably, and, they can hold their heads high, or at least they could have done if that's what had happened. Right.
Yes, exactly.
And if you were a sore loser, right, you can always say, it was that, fucking red card. If it wasn't for that red card, we totally would have taken it. Right.
Absolutely.
And now that, that pleasant fiction has been stripped away, I'm afraid, because what happened, Chris? Tell our people what happened.
It's not only that it was stripped away. Now the expectation is like, oh, you got your best player back. Therefore, you have to win.
Yep.
There's no losing by a little. You have to beat Belgium, which is kind of like going up to a college football team and saying you have to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And you're just like, I might be able to do that, but I'm not entirely sure. It's like, no. I've changed all of the rules so that you can play them. And I made sure that I've kind of tilted things in your favor when I shouldn't have. So now you have to beat them. And it's like, and so you've put this massive amount of pressure on this team, which was doing okay and probably could have kept their focus in the right place. But instead, now you've got the president of the United States intervened to make sure you win this game. And so what happened? They lost 4-1.
Yeah, they sure did.
I mean, it's not losing. It's an absolute fucking shellacking. And it's like, obviously something just snapped.
Yeah. They crumbled. And I wouldn't be surprised if it had to do with the stress of, God damn it, now everyone hates us because Donald Trump corruptly pulled strings. We're now the bad guys. If we don't win this, then we have, and win it big, exactly as you say, we're going to be shamed in front of the entire fucking world. Yeah. And it's hard to focus on the game when your brain is giving you that narrative, I would imagine. So, but you know what, Chris? What? This is just another example of the Trump curse.
Yes.
Because Trump keeps fucking up sports games.
Yes.
He keeps doing it, right? With the Super Bowl, he backs the team very openly and then they lose. He stops all of New York City to go and see the Knicks and they lose.
Yes.
He keeps doing this. So now he stuck his big fat face into the middle of the World Cup and he fucked up the American team. And he number one, we look like cheaters.
Yes.
And we look like cheaters who lost really, really badly. It looks like karma. It looks like cosmic justice. And that sucks. Because it wasn't Balogun's fault that this happened.
No,
and it wasn't the team's fault that this happened.
No.
This is just Trump being the world's biggest prick.
And nobody wanted us to win in the first place. People were happy with us doing okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Once this happened, I mean, this morning I'm looking at all the comments, and unless you're American, and this is another thing, I think I need to say this very clearly. Some of the American political commentators have been super excited about the red card being lifted and not truly understanding what it fully means or meant. Yeah. And so they've been having some pretty shitty takes. And I think they need to make sure they understand the fullness of the game because this morning, I mean, hell, there were tons of comments, but it's the Belgian team. The Belgian team made sure that everybody knew that Trump is shit, and like everything that you did to make sure they lost, they didn't. So they're mocking Trump in the locker room after they won. They're mocking him on the field. I mean, and if you just go underneath any of these videos online, it's go Belgium, screw the U.S., fuck the U.S. This is corruption. I mean, so we were having such a good World Cup, and Americans cared about it, and Trump just fucked it so hard for everybody. And he clearly doesn't care about like soccer. He just doesn't care about it. And he just like somebody probably like put a giant board in front of his face and said, soccer equals votes. You write text now.
Right. Yeah.
All right. I'll write a text. I better call in. He gave me the prize. He gave me the prize.
He fucking announced to the world his own corruption. But he does that. He does that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's his superpower, is having a complete and total lack of shame. Yeah. And because a normal person would be like, I'm doing something awful and dishonest. I don't want people to know because I don't want people to think I'm a dishonest, corrupt bastard. But Donald Trump is like, I am very happy for people to know I'm a corrupt, awful bastard. That's my brand, baby. So I don't know. Okay, did you ever watch Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Chris?
No.
Back in the day?
I'm aware of it, but I never had a chance to watch it. I was too busy going out and partying and having fun.
Well, that's the difference between your childhood and mine, then, Chris. I bring it up only because there's a character on there. Maybe some of our listeners have seen the show, Master Shake, who is a giant
Master Shake.
Yeah, exactly. Right. The Aqua Teen Hunger Force, they're, food products who are also superheroes, but they don't do any superheroics. It's literally they're just them living in a rundown house and, bitching at each other for the most part. It was great. 2000s peak entertainment is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I bring it up because Master Shake, his real superpower is that he has no shame whatsoever.
Yeah.
And in a weird way, I think that this cartoon prefigured Trumpism. It prefigured MAGA. It prefigured all of this. The sudden realization that actually, if I just refuse to accept reality, if I just insist on things being what I say that they are, to quote Master Shake, do what I said because I said it. that works in America.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's going to take us a little bit to crawl out of that, I'm afraid.
I think it will take us a while to dig ourselves out of that that hole. I think that we should end it there because I could go on for another 20 minutes on it, but we don't have the time and I need to eat dinner.
Exactly.
I think we need to talk because we forgot about this last week. So I'm glad we're able to get it in now. Some good news. Woo! So on this version of good news, we're going to go back to Folarin Balogun.
Let's do it.
And why is he our focus for good news today? He's had a rough couple of days, I think it's fair to say. But I think it's important to remember why he's on the United States team. And this week of all weeks, why it's important that he represents what America is. Because he was born in the United States by accident.
Is that right, Chris?
So
Tell the story.
His mother was visiting a family member in New York, and so when she got on the plane to go back home, so it wasn't any right wing conspiracy. She was going to go back home. She's the airline was like, you're way too pregnant to fly, so you need to stay here in New York until you have had the baby, and then we'll let you fly back. And that's what she did. And of course, because of the U.S. Constitution, that baby born in the United States was able
American
to be was an American citizen, and that child grew up to be Folarin Balogun. And so, and he's playing. Actually, he grew up here in London.
Really?
Yeah. And
a bit like Boris Johnson then.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like it is like Boris Johnson. So Boris Johnson was also born in the United States and can claim American citizenship if he wants. I don't think he probably do it later when he needs the money. But but I mean, given what happened last week with the ruling on birthright citizenship, and given how hard the right wing and specifically MAGA and specifically Trump have worked to prevent people from using that right. For him then to go to the mat for a birthright citizen who I'm sure he didn't even realize is a birthright citizen, but that doesn't matter. You just had the most powerful voice in MAGA promote the thing that they hate. And for that, that is definitely good news to me.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. If it makes even a single MAGA's head explode, I think it's all worthwhile, Chris.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, and as we were saying, it, you know, most players might have, if they're good enough, might have 4, you know, World Cups in them.
Yep.
Maybe less. And America's, you know, a team that is always a bit dynamic. Yeah. Let's say that.
It's working its way up there, Chris.
I'm hoping we'll be able to see him again on the pitch, and I'm hoping that we have a team as good as we've had this past World Cup. Outside of the politics, they did a very good job, and I am upset that Trump and MAGA got in the way of, you know, a very good run. And I don't think I'm not going to be naive enough to say that we would have beaten Belgium, but
no, Belgium is quite good at football. It turns out.
Yeah, Belgium is, you know, like UEFA is there's a reason UEFA is UEFA, but you know, every 4 years we get better. Every 4 years we have to compete harder, and you know, America starts caring more and more about soccer. So. So for this person in particular, for Balogun, I mean, I think that, you know, well done to the rest of the U.S. team, and you know, keep playing hard, and for the rest of the world, keep your heads on a swivel because you're right behind you.
Well, I think that's been a good session. I think we've covered a few things. We had some laughs along the way. And we got to mock Donald Trump for destroying America's sport teams.
Yes, the sports ball. Yes, once again, we're talking about the sports ball. So we will be back next week with a regular show. But as we get up to the summer, we probably will start figuring out some way to work less hard. But until then, and as always, I'm Dr. Silverstein.
I'm Dr. Armshaw.
And we are doctors.
Not doctors.
Good night.